Hello again, everyone. My name is Eric Rosenfeld. Tonight, me and Nathaniel will be debating whether or not we should raise the federal minimum wage to at least $10 an hour. So a little background information before we dive in. The federal minimum wage was established in 1938 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt at about 25 cents an hour. For a little context, the Great Depression was currently in full swing. We were just about to hit the tail end of it. A lot of this is due in part to the deficit spending that FDR implemented. The federal minimum wage was just an arm of that. In 1938, 25 cents an hour had the same spending power and the same purchasing power as about $17.12 in today's money. So that means that, I'm so sorry, in 1938, $1 equaled $17.12. So that means that in 1938, 25 cents equaled $4.28. Today's minimum wage is currently $7.25 an hour, which in real wages is an increase of $2.98 or 97 cents. This is not enough of an increase in real wages to pay for basic necessities. So tonight, our significance claim is that the minimum wage should be increased to at least $10 an hour. Our inherency claim is that the current minimum wage does not support even the most bare bones of lifestyles. And our solvency claim is that we must simply raise the minimum wage, diverting funds if necessary. The if necessary is imperative here because that should only be a final resort. So, one of the first things I'd like to bring up is from a website called procon.org on the topic of should the federal minimum wage be increased. Procon.org weighs the positives and negatives of any single legislative action and has a variety of sources linking to it. This one says that the minimum wage in 1968 was $1.60, which is equivalent to $11.16 in January 2016 dollars, and which is 53.9% higher than today's $7.25 federal minimum wage. Basically, the federal minimum wage has failed to keep up with inflation. If it was about $11.16, if $1.60 in 1968 had the same purchasing power as $11.16 in today's money, then $7.25 in today's money is significantly less than that $11.16 purchasing power 50 years ago. I would like to further this claim by stating that too few states have sufficient minimum wage. According to an article written by Jackson Brainerd for the according to an article written by Jackson Brainerd called State Minimum Wages, 2018 Minimum Wage by State for the NCSL. His chart shows that 20 states plus Puerto Rico and American Samoa either have only the federal minimum wage or no mandated minimum wage at all. They would default to the federal one, except in the case of Oklahoma, where servers are able to be paid about $3 an hour, because the expectation is that they will make tips to make equal to the $7.25 minimum wage. Perhaps the most important claim for our side is that the current minimum wage fails to afford even the most bare bones lifestyle, and according to procon.org, in no state can an individual working a typical $40 an hour work or 40-hour work week at the federal minimum wage afford a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment for his or her family. And this is every state, in every county, in every neighborhood. So if someone living in Blanche, Oklahoma, was working at a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, at 40 hours a week, there would be no way for them to afford even a 1-bedroom apartment for them and their family. And this includes food and utilities and all of those payments. And then another piece of information to support this claim is from the National Low Income Housing Coalition, or the NLIHC. According to them, the 2015 national housing wage is $19.35, meaning that someone working full-time 40 hours a week would need to earn $19.35 per hour to afford a modest 2-bedroom rental unit. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not sure there's a state where $19.35 is the minimum wage. California, I think, is the highest, or one of the highest, approaching 15. So the fact of the matter is there is this gap between what we need to make and what we are making. Furthermore, according to Tanza Ludenbach, for an article on Business Insider titled "How Much Money You Need to Make to Live Comfortably in the 25 Biggest Cities in America," published in 2017, so rather recently, According to their findings, to live in Philadelphia, you would need to make $61,974, but the average income is only $38,253. To live in Boston, you would need to make $79,000 and $277, but the average income is about $55,777. People just aren't making enough money to afford to live, and that's a shame because the minimum wage was established to bring people up to living standards. And the fact of the matter is these wages are not able to compensate people on a living scale, and most certainly there are no better jobs for them to go to. And this brings up the problem of automation. As we all know, automation is happening, and it's happening at an alarming rate. According to Paul Davidson in an article for USA Today called "Automation Could Kill 73 Million US Jobs by 2030, he says automation could destroy as many as 73 million US jobs by 2030. And this is the current rate at which it's happening. Now, I'm not saying that increasing the minimum wage would increase automation, far from it. I'm actually saying that automation is already happening, and that to say that raising the minimum wage would cause automation to happen faster is not true, because it's already happening. And there's no evidence to suggest that increasing the minimum wage would make automation happen faster. Now finally, one last thing I'd like to leave you with is the fact that we can actually afford to do this. According to usaspending.gov, the website which tracks U.S. government agency spending, the Department of Defense spent $323,810,791,670. With the Department of the Navy spending the most at $109,930,586 over the course of about 250,000 transactions. We can afford to pay people a living wage. We just need to find a way to do so.